PropertyGuru has announced a new phase of growth back in Q4 of last year. And that new phase, which we labeled internally as PG3, is actually all about building Southeast Asia property trust platform and follows what we internally label PG2, which is about building towards market leadership positions. So in the last couple of years, we've successfully been able to build leadership positions in Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Thailand. Moving forward, we're going to build what's called a property trust platform. Property trust platform is basically about building the infrastructure that connects buyers and sellers, but also other stakeholders in the real estate ecosystem in Southeast Asia, so that people can engage in transactions of trust. In the last couple of years, we've been able to build leadership positions in Southeast Asia. In our key markets, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, we've been able to build strong positions in the market, which provide for our next phase of growth. If I would reflect on what has allowed us to build those positions, I would say it's probably mostly around execution. And that sounds a lot simpler than it is. Execution in our definition, or in my reflection of how PropertyGuru has got there, is about both the what and the how. I think on the what, the company has been very focused. We've been very disciplined behind making acquisitions that relate to the core business. We've not prolifically gone into 10 new markets, planted flags. We've been disciplined and focused, I would say. I think where we made a real difference, and where is probably key ingredients to our success, is about the how. How we've built a culture of performance, how we've been very strongly led by values, how we've been able to build a culture of missionaries rather than mercenaries. As a company, we've always been very focused on diversity and on inclusiveness or inclusion. We have about 1,600 gurus in the company and more than 30 nationalities. That's, let's say, the diversity aspect. But the inclusiveness aspect is equally important. How do we actually build relationships in the company? And it's very interesting to see that in any engagement survey that we run, we do that on a 6-monthly basis, gurus are always talking about how much they value the relationships they have with other gurus in the company. And that's what's holding the team together and what makes such a strong culture for the company. The way that we are navigating it is we are looking at things like the office experience, for example. What is the role of the office in the network? It's no longer just a place to bring people together just to sit behind desks. The office needs to facilitate certain behaviors, certain processes, or certain experiences for people. So that's one area. Another area that we look at is rituals, right? So how can we create more new meaningful moments for people in our team, even though they're distributed around the world, and even though they may not always be working synchronously, right, on documents or on decisions even. So actually the leadership is consciously thinking through those concepts. It would be a bit presumptuous to say that we have all the answers, but at least we've brought ourselves to the starting point of that conversation. We are very well aware that we are at that sweet spot. We are large enough as a business to make an impact on the world around us. And we are small enough as a company for people to still make an impact on the company. So telling that story is typically a good way to separate between mercenaries on one hand and missionaries on the other hand. Of course, we want to build a culture of missionaries. We want people who believe in building Southeast Asia's trust platform, who feel passionate about giving people access to the real estate market. We have so far been able to attract missionaries, so people who want to work for this company and who want to stay and want to develop relationships in this company. And that, of course, is on top of having competitive compensation, because obviously, it's an important part of people's reasons to come to a company, but it's not enough. We need to build beyond that, and we believe by offering people an opportunity to have an impact on something that is important to them is a key way of attracting and retaining talent. So for the moment, our business is very much focused on Singapore. Our growth aspirations are across the region, and each market will have its own unique model of growth for us. We're very much inspired by the fact that Even a market that is so mature as Singapore still has such strong unmet needs on the consumer side. And the interesting thing is that most mature mortgage markets in the globe, the US, Europe, Australia, the mortgage broker actually has the majority of the market rather than the bank. And we believe also in Singapore there's still a lot of work for us to do in helping people experience the markets in the way that it actually should. And this is about improving consumer experiences, for example, by applying technologies that allow people to apply for mortgages online rather than through a written form, have much more secure and much more customer-friendly ways of uploading documents. So in short, our growth is going to sit at looking at specific customer needs in the market across Southeast Asia and applying technology and mortgage expertise, bringing people and technology together, much like PropertyGuru actually did in its original journey in building Southeast Asia's property marketplaces. Applying that to the FinTech space, we believe is the focus of growth for us moving forward. It has always been the case that a company is not just an entity that needs to deliver financial results. It has always been the case that companies also need to role model good corporate citizenship. But two important things have changed. One is the loyalty between investors and companies and employees and companies has become less. And the great resignation era that we are now going through perhaps are testimony to that. And let's see what happens moving forward when we have the more flexible setups between employees and employers in the post-COVID era. The second thing that has changed is that everything a company do is in the public space. And there is no hesitation either for people who are outside of the company or people that are inside of the company to hold the company publicly accountable for their behavior. It is increasingly becoming important for a company to behave in ways that are to give recognition to those forces. I think what's important for modern leadership is to develop a stronger skill set on not just the historical what, which is the hard aspect of business. Leaders of the future no longer need to be good only at the harder part of leadership. Is that stereotypical 1980s masculine leader. Leaders of today need to also be strong on the softer side of leadership, need to be authentic, need to be good listeners, need to connect with their people, but also with the broader environment within which their company operates. Leaders who do that successfully, I think, are the successful leaders of the future.